Welcome back to Diaper Babies. Last week we spun the wheel. It came up my choice.
Their choice.
So I accidentally picked True Romance, even though
You
I wanted Tales
accidentally
from
picked True
Yes.
Romance.
I wanted Tales from the Dark. I had seen both advertisements recently and movie posters, and I just kept thinking Christian Slater. So he's in both, and I picked the wrong one, and I'm super glad I did because I still watched both.
Good.
So in this episode, we're doing True Romance.
True Romance.
That's where we are. That's what we're doing. And
Yeah.
that's Patrick Swayze. All right.
What did you think about this? Like, what was your honest opinion on True Romance?
I made note to write this down so that I could say this and be honest, because we are honest on this channel.
Yeah.
I thought I had this movie pegged in about 20 minutes. I thought I knew what it was going to be. And then about halfway through the movie, I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, this is Rob Zombie's like muse. Like, the violence is just very like in your face, like shoving necks and knives, and like, the violence is pretty brutal, and it's a little unexpected.
Okay.
The amount. So I ended up really enjoying this movie. I didn't think that was going to be the thing. Gary Oldman's character in the beginning, when he's fighting Christian Slater, I thought you were about to be like, that's not this movie.
No. What are you talking about? Remind me to do that next time.
I couldn't stop laughing, not because of the scene, because the music was like a mixture of Mortal Kombat, and it was like a mixture of Mortal Kombat and Halloween. And it was just like this fucking like dance fight music. And that's why I thought I had the movie pegged. I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. Yeah. And then, continue to watch it. And I'm super glad I did. I really enjoyed it.
No.
Had you seen this before?
No, this was my first time watching it.
Awesome. What did you think?
I'm not a fan.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Okay, you talk about Gary Oldman first. The first checkout I had was when he started talking, and I was like, no, this is a fucking joke. Jacob's fucking trolling me. I know it. What the fuck is wrong with this voice? Like, he's a great actor. I love him. He's been in and then like all I could think of is, oh, he's taking the piss. He's fucking just does not care about this movie, and he's like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. But other than that, okay,
I'm gonna call Christian Slater a white boy, and then I'm gonna call my bodyguard the N-word.
Yeah.
And that's just gonna confuse people, because what?
Yeah, he's like I don't think okay, let's get it straight. This is Quentin Tarantino's first screen-written project, and you can fucking tell by the first 10 seconds of the movie. Like, the whole Elvis Presley thing, I was like, holy shit, this is exact. Like, I actually had to go and look it up, but yeah, Quentin wanted to play the Christian Slater part. And I was like, yeah, sounds like him. Sounds exactly like him and shit. Fucking but like, I don't know what really turns me off on the movie.
Yeah, that's a little odd. I'm a little shocked that you've said this.
Because the writing is okay in some of the scenes. It's dull in others. I guess maybe the plot where it's two lovers going across country to try to make money to escape.
Yeah. Right.
That's a simple plot. As a matter of fact, I think the 90s had, next to FBI agents, a fucking ton of these ideas of this. I know David Lynch had one of these. Oliver Stone had one of these movies, but this one, the direction, I think this is why like directors that write scripts that sell them to have other directors direct them aren't really good. I know the Coen brothers have done it a couple times and they're wrote like Coen brothers movies, but they are not directed like Coen brothers movies. And
who did this? Tim Holland, I want to say.
The guy from he did Beverly Hills Cop 2. What else did he do? I want to say like Commando or one of those action movies from the 80s.
Yeah, you can see it. This felt very Point Break to me. So I liked it. Like, it was like, ooh, another like action-packed 90s as shit.
Yeah.
Like I was like, yeah, dude, I fuck with this. It's like Quentin Tarantino's version of the movie we like, Point Break.
This is the equivalent of your parents telling you it tastes like Point Break and it doesn't taste like it and stuff, and it's like, but they said it.
I bought into it. It's amazing I haven't bought into God with all the dumb shit that I believe. But yeah, like I don't know, I'm actually quite shocked. Were there things about the movie that you liked?
Brad Pitt, love that fucking character. They should have let him just have the whole show. I love the fact that he's literally in like 2-3 scenes where he's just sitting on a couch and people are interrogating him and he does not know what's going on. Like, that should have been the fucking movie.
Yeah,
I would watch that.
That was a lot of fun to watch. I really enjoyed his character. He they could have they should have added more of him, because I like at one point when Rappaport and Slater and Arquette are all in the like kitchen area or whatever, and he's sitting there like drinking a beer like at the bar thing, kitchenette. I thought that they said you're gonna drive us, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, he's gonna go with him and he's gonna be all stupid and like what's going on, man? And like everybody's gonna be shooting and shit. Like I like my brain went a mile away from the actual movie because I was so excited about that character. But so you didn't think like there were good characters in this movie?
Well, like there's a lot of characters, but I think they're kind of like obviously Quentin wrote this so he knew how they would act, things like that. So I think certain characters had what Quentin wanted, but this director who just got this script didn't know where to go with them. I think the Brad Pitt character worked great. I think the Tom Sizemore character worked good. I would have liked it.
I liked him in there.
I like, he's just egging the shit on and stuff. He's gonna shoot him. It's gonna shoot him.
And it made me wonder if like the dude from Perfect Strangers could hear him saying like, oh shit, he's gonna shoot him. Oh shit, he's gonna shoot him or whatever. Because that would have been hilarious.
I think though, like I don't know, the Arquette, I don't think she was there.
I don't like her.
I don't.
I've mentioned this several times, like even when we did Bringing Out the Dead, I was like, I do not like her. I do not like, I don't find her attractive. I don't think she's a good actress, actress, whatever. And I don't like her voice.
I think in certain I just feel like she's okay.
Well, there was glimmers of it in this one. I thought there were certain parts I was like, damn, that was pretty good. But like, especially when she was like being pushed or like beaten up or something, and she's just kind of like fuck. Like her voice, the way it sounds lends to those types of scenes, because her voice sounds so distressed already
Mm-hmm.
that like when she's put in that scene, she doesn't have to overact. She can just respond and it sounds like somebody is distressed.
Yeah.
So those scenes, it worked well, but I didn't think her and Christian Slater had chemistry.
Mm.
Like it all looked very like forced.
But it was bland
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah,
It
yeah,
just,
yeah.
and I'll get into that. I have something at the end that I really want to touch up on, especially about the relationship.
Okay.
But characters like the Dustin, Dennis Hopper, and it's right there.
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken scene. Yeah, it's intense. It's crazy. It's shot perfectly.
Yeah.
That scene works, but then it's like, well, where's more?
Yeah.
Where's more? I mean, James Gandolfini, he's
a fucking
just
badass. He was great in that
yeah,
movie.
he's a henchman.
Yeah.
It's good to see him just kind of playing that like small part role.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It seemed like to me that Quentin Tarantino had this idea for this awesome story.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, okay, so he gives this broad strokes idea, like what you said,
Yeah.
2 young kids come across some money, they're trying to earn some drugs, they're trying to sell it across the United States to, live a better life.
Yeah, so they can buy out. Yeah.
Broad strokes, right?
Yeah.
So then you take the character of like so it seemed like he just wanted to make different scenes and crammed them into his movie. Like, I want one badass scene where Gandolfini is beating up Patricia Arquette. I want a badass scene where Brad Pitt's just stoned on a couch. I want a badass gunfight scene at the end.
Yeah.
I want this tense back and forth between Walken and Hopper. And then he just made them into a movie.
Yeah.
It was like different movies clipped together to make one movie. Like each scene felt different from one to the next. It starts out silly with Gary Oldman's character and then gets tense with Walken and Hopper, and then it gets ridiculous with the gun shootout, everything with Michael Rappaport. That was probably the most I've ever liked Michael Rappaport in a movie outside of Paper Soldiers.
Or wasn't he in the Bay City Bay Street Boys?
Not Mikey.
Wasn't he in the Bay City Bay
yeah,
Town
he
Boys?
was the bartender, and he was the Baytown Babysitters Club.
Yeah, the Baytown Babysitters Club. Yeah,
that's our new name, Baytown Babysitters Club.
Babysitters Club. Yeah, it had a million different characters. Yeah. I think you could have easily cut some of the characters. Like, in my opinion, you want to make it more cohesive. Gary Oldman doesn't die. Mm-hmm. They do get the bag, and it's him as the bad guy. Because the bad guys in this, it's when you make it as like oblivious as like the mob, and then there's like 20 different mob guys that come in and out.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, no, there's no like that like perfect revenge idea, I think that would have worked better.
I think that would have been good, but I think that is a little plain Jane. I wish Gary Oldman didn't have to die. I wish he played a different character. Yeah. But I wish okay, so he's dead. Cool. Just make it Walken, Gandolfini, and the one that spoke Italian that you've seen and everything as the main gangsters following him. I liked that. Christopher Walken tracking him down across country, whatever. I liked the Rappaport, Brad Pitt characters. You didn't need the whole scene where he comes after his dad. That is something it could have lost, even though it was a great scene. It's something that it could have lost and not missed. You could have taken the whole entire dad character out of the movie. Just go from getting the bag to calling Rappaport to heading cross country, and you got Christopher Walken on your ass the whole time.
Yeah.
And then it still concludes the same way. I just feel like that was a big chunk of movie that was complete. It went nowhere. It did nothing except show Hopper's a racist and he was a cop and he's not going to fuck with these gangsters. So they kill him.
Yeah.
even in the bathrooms, like I don't know, the more you bring it up, the more I'm like, yeah, it didn't need this, but I still enjoyed the movie. I also, one of the more favorite things of this movie is how reasonable that studio executive, producer, director, drug dealer was. That is like the dream drug dealer, dude.
Yeah.
Like the guy that's just like, I'm very reasonable. If you just explain it to me, then cool. Like he's even like, keep your gun, keep your gun. I don't, it's cool, man. Like
Yeah.
I'm cool, you're cool. Like let's just, like that whole thing, like that character is great. Like
Yeah.
I really liked that guy. And then he got mad and like, lost his shit.
Yeah.
So it can happen. He's got that too. But the entire time he's just like, explain it to me. So you just, okay. All right, cool, man. Let's sit down and do some drugs and talk some business. Like,
Yeah. See, this needed that like drug dealer from like Boogie Nights, where he's sitting there listening to fucking Rick Springfield, fucking like, well, a guy in a leopard like Speedo is sitting there lighting firecrackers off, and he's just smoking crack and having a good time. Like that's the character you need to like, and everybody's just sweating bullets and just be like, okay.
Have you seen The Sitter? That Jonah Hill movie where he's like a babysitter.
And, I have not seen it all the way through, but I know what you're talking about. Yes.
That drug dealer is the king of drug dealers. Sam Rockwell just plays this dude that has like guys working out all the time.
Yeah.
And he has like the one like assistant that he's always yelling at that's like wearing booty shorts and roller skates and shit. Like
the guy like from the Gemstones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're not muscle boys, Daddy. They're muscle man.
Yeah, those characters, like I like the drug dealers when they're like that. That's fun. That's fun to me. Like that, because drug dealers aren't like that, or not at any level that I've dealt with. So they're like hilarious to see that side of, like $20,000 doesn't mean anything to me kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like that carelessness. But yeah, so you can cut all that out. But I do like
fine. It's interesting. Yeah, because like in movies, there are a couple of styles of drug dealers, and the most eccentric ones are the ones that I remember. If you give me random guy, like random guy who is just like a clone of Tony Montana in different clothes, that's intimidating. Give me a drug dealer that's got fleshed out character, or what do you call it? In Half Baked, the drug dealer who's like in
Samson.
Yeah, he's like in a pool, and he's got his kung fu ninja bitches. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like give me that shit. That's what I want. This guy, he's in the middle. Where he's like, he's got good negotiation skills, but he also has the bodyguard who's like, don't give a fuck. That motherfucker was ready to go down. Fucking like, I don't give a shit. Fucking that guy just yelling at the cops.
That guy was ridiculous. But yeah, I think the movie, like, okay, it's his first shot, you know what I mean? So like I get it. I can see where it's going. I can see where it came from. It all looks good. I enjoyed it. Like, for what it was. But I do have a question. Do you think Aerosmith makes soundtrack music? Or do you think that because we were young and listened to soundtracks that had Aerosmith, we naturally in our brains go, yeah, it sounds good on soundtracks?
I think Aerosmith's music is that type of music where you can put it in any situation so it becomes memorable or catchy, or anything.
It becomes Freebird.
It becomes Freebird. There you go. Freebird was not meant for soundtracks, but in certain soundtracks, it's really good.
Right.
So yeah, that's basically Aerosmith. I mean, that police shootout could have had going down in an elevator or whatever that fucking Aerosmith song is, and you would have been like, yeah, or dude looks like a lady. You know, like,
but that's my point, because like dude looks like a lady was in Miss Doubtfire.
yeah.
You know, the Armageddon thing. There, like we grew up listening to it in soundtracks,
Yeah.
and possibly outside of soundtracks on our own. That like, are we wired to think? Because like I caught Aerosmith in here in the movie, and I was like, damn, dude, it moves real well with this movie. And I was like, then that's when the question popped in my head, like, have I been like uh groomed into thinking that Aerosmith is like soundtrack music, or did it just work really well with that scene?
I think it's just more of Aerosmith. It's the same reason like you can put in like Straight Outta Compton on like any type of situation, you know, and it's badass. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like it's like the Babysitters Club, and they're going to go kick ass or something, or, you know, we're going to go get our money back, motherfucker. And they, you know, just the soundtrack kicks into Straight Outta Compton. I don't think that's what, you know, those guys thought about. Like, yeah, this song's about a little suburban white girl trying to go get the fucking money back from these people who stole it, those asshole football players. No, you know, I just wrote a movie right there. And
yeah, you did. I was like, what movie is he talking about?
She just grabs those keys, and it just like bang, straight out of fucking, like, that shit just kicks in, and it's fucking badass.
So, you know, I know we're kind of free forming this, but I want to make it a point to say my show breaker is the use of the N-word here.
Quentin Tarantino just blows that shit out in every movie. The only one really worked was Django. I mean, the Django.
Well,
there
you
go.
I mean,
look at
that
it, just
made
fucked
sense.
it up. Django.
Yeah, Django. Yeah, that made sense. As
the
unfortunate,
D is silent.
As unfortunate it is, but you had my attention now, or you had my curiosity. Now you have my attention. That shit is so cool.
Yeah, I watched it the other day. But yeah, the Quentin Tarantino, like, and that's just the writing. I think more on the directing. I think if like the direction still has that 80s style of direction, whereas the 90s style is starting to come in. Like, once Quentin gets the money, like, he sells this in another movie, and that's where he makes Reservoir Dogs, and then eventually Pulp Fiction. And then once Pulp Fiction cuts in, that's where we get like that new style of like direction for movies.
Well, this felt like an early Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, because it's Quentin. Yeah.
Like I felt like this was the rough draft to that. Like that crazy several different stories kind of blending, you know, because like you learn so much about each character through these scenes that like, but they're throwaway characters. And in Pulp Fiction, they're more like, okay, I'm not giving you this information unless that character is important. So like in this scene, you learn all about his dad through how his dad acts, but you don't need to. You know, you learn Christopher Walken's character, you learn Gandolfini's character, but you don't need to. They serve a purpose. Scary mobster, scary henchman, scary, or like dad, badass dad, or whatever. Like, it's just like it's overfeeding you basically.
I can see that.
But yeah, I mean, the N-word thing, like, I know it's just a shocker and he's not scared to use it, and a lot of people are, you know, not okay with it, but there's several people that support it. I don't think that the movie would lose anything, except for maybe Django would lose anything by not using that word. And I don't see the point of it in here, like in this movie specifically. Like it was an unnecessary thing.
It is, I guess, just the most of it comes in the Dennis Hopper moment. And I think it's like, well, what is, you know, I can see Quentin going, well, what does this character say? And then like he looked up a dictionary about Sicilians, and then he was like, that's it. But instead of, you know, like just using the word more or something
Yeah.
like that. He's like, no, I'm gonna make it insulting for him and stuff.
Yeah.
So
and it really does drive the fact that he's trying to insult this guy by using such vulgar words. But again, still probably don't need that.
I
It would have
still
been
feel
it would
that
have been okay without it.
like another insulting thing is that there's Christopher Walken's isn't just the main bad guy. Like we just have like that scene, I believe. Is there another scene with him? No. Yeah. So you just
there's a
have
prior scene, but yeah, that's the last time you see him. And then it's some other random person.
Yeah.
Like he just disappears out of the movie.
I mean, like
I thought I was crazy. I was waiting for you to bring that up because no, he just you never see him again.
Yeah. And
like he didn't die.
No, but you have this, like, could you only afford him for a day? Or is it that you wanted to make the bad guys not really the story? Which in my opinion, if you're not making the bad guys the story, then why throw all these other characters in there? It's just too much. You got to know when to say, okay, I have enough characters. I have enough pieces on the board to play the game. So now I have to play the game, the more pieces you have for dialogue, it's like, you don't need that. Leave Brad Pitt in there, leave, if, instead of Gary Oldman, you have, Christopher Walken's at the bar, Christian Glover, Christian Slater, he just steals the briefcase. Someone notices that he's there, and then the briefcase is gone. That's got my drugs. All right. And then that's when your like cat and mouse game starts. And then we go here and there and stuff, So, but it's his first script. I can see the little, like, oh, if I only had a couple more days to kind of rewrite that. So,
I want to go back to Brad Pitt's character real quick.
I mean,
especially the scene with him and Gandolfini. And how polite they're being to each other. And this dude's like, he has a shotgun with him, and he's just like, yeah, man. He's like, hey, man, do you want to watch some TV? And he's like, nah, man, I may come back later though. Like they're just like so friendly to each other. That's good writing. That's funny. Because it's obviously this gangster, this henchman. I mean, what he does to Patricia Arquette, like he has no problem doing, and he could very easily do it to Brad Pitt in that scene. So like the fact that he's just choosing to be a friendly guy and just okay, all right, see you later. Like
I just doing what I gotta do to get the information, kind of deal. So but that almost is the movie that I want to see. Like fuck that Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette stuff. I just want like Brad Pitt has information. And the mob has to like try to, I don't know, do we use sign language to talk to him or something? Like they have to, you're getting in the car with us and you're going to this place. And he's just sitting there like blitzed out of his brain and stuff. I like the second one more where the like
there's
mob members in there and they're like, where are they? They're down at the Hilton. Like he won't make eye contact. He's kind of like eyes and stuff.
Well, at one point he's just like kind of looking down like this, and then he's like, where is that hotel? And he's like, you go up here and then you go right, and then you keep going right for a little while, and like giving completely useless directions, but he's just so like, he's so forthcoming because he doesn't know any better. He's so innocent that he's just like, or he's like so high that he's innocent, and he's just like, they just need to know where he is, so I'm just telling him where he is. Like he doesn't think any more into it than I was asked a question and I responded.
That's the character that's like, okay, that shit's entertaining. Like the idea of all the Christians, that stuff, it's just kind of like floated because I could see the steps of the story like playing out. because like I said, I didn't see this movie, so this is the first time watching it, and I'm just like, I don't know where this is going. But when you can kind of get the direction of the wind, it's like, oh, okay, I bet this is gonna, I bet this is, yeah, okay, I got it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can see the movie coming a mile away, but
yeah,
this is one thing that I noticed in this one, because a lot of these types of movies, like Point Break, this movie, other like fast-paced cutting movies like this one, there, this one is different because it doesn't have a cop keeping time.
Yeah.
Normally in your movie, your cop is keeping time, like your Beverly Hills Cop. He's the one that's like, okay, now we need to go find the bad guy. Now we need this information from this precinct, and then we're going to go. Like, there's steps, and it keeps time in the movie. It keeps beat. It keeps you showing why the next step is happening.
Yeah.
And or explaining afterwards why it happened. This movie doesn't have that. This movie's just chaos. It's the other side of it, and the cops are just like popping in and out versus like the bad guys popping in and out when the cop is keeping time. So I think that has to be taken into consideration as well with this one.
Just gangsters doing gangster shit.
Yeah, and it's chaos. I will say, in Christian Slater's defense, though, I like Christian Slater. Like, I know a lot of people think he's like, a better version of Pauly Shore. Just like kind of that one layer, like goofy stoner kind of guy. But like in this movie, it made me see him in a new light. He comes across like this Bruce Willis type badass that like he'll go there, but like that's not what he wants to do. And also he's like believable as the everyday guy that's being put in extraordinary circumstances, which is what Bruce Willis worked so well with, because like Arnold and Sylvester and those guys, like you expect that from them. This guy is just going above and beyond. And I kind of saw that in this character as well, so I really enjoyed him in this role. Obviously you prefer him as a secondary background to more
to the Brad Pitt.
Yeah, like let's Brad make Pitt the main character not the main character. Let's make the 15th on the call sheet like uncredited Brad Pitt role. Let's make him the main character. Let's make him the focus of the movie.
Imagine that movie. Okay, imagine Brad Pitt sitting there watching cartoons, eating his cereal, or whatever, just sitting there watching. And then all of a sudden, Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette burst into the house, have a suitcase full of drugs, and they need to sell it to his roommate. And we just see the movie through the eyes of what's happening around him. It might be dull, or it might have like some moment, but you see this secondary, this fifth tier act, this character having to deal with the shit that's happening around him, who has nothing to do with the story.
That is a brilliant idea. Like if the camera never leaves Brad Pitt, but you see those guys coming in and like, oh man, where'd you get all this fucking coke? And he's just sitting there watching, so you can still shoot the same scenes, but he's always in them, and it's from his point of view.
And he does drive,
and maybe
them.
Like some funny,
and he's down in the lobby of the hotel.
Inner monologue. Yeah, exactly. All this is happening, and he's just reading it around the hotel lobby in like a robe, and just still eating a bowl of cereal somehow, like but yeah, that's a really good movie idea.
Like he just he's like, oh, there's nothing to do down here, I'm just gonna ride the elevator for a little bit. And then he happens to get on the, like, all of them start bum rushing the cops or the gangsters and stuff, just bum rushing. Whoa. Just give me, that's something different. That's the thing that I was saying, is that good idea. I'm now I want to get into what I've noticed. Okay. I've seen 3 of these movies now. One of them is done by fucking David Lynch, and it has Nicolas Cage and I was getting ready. Dr. Adler. Fuck, what's her name? Blonde lady from Jurassic Park. Dr. Adler.
I know who you're talking.
Yeah, I can't
about.
remember her name right now. But anyway, same thing. Minus the fact, it's two lovers in a car going somewhere, and that's the story. Okay.
Well, Natural Born Killers too.
That's what I was getting into.
Okay.
The second movie that Quentin Tarantino wrote that he sold off was Natural Born Killers, and Natural Born Killers is extremely better than this because I think of the direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Quentin says that he's seen True Romance and he enjoys it, but he will refuse to watch Natural Born Killers because of the things they changed. And someone needs to tell Quentin they changed them so it didn't end up like True Romance. It changed to make it his own unique story. And I prefer Natural Born Killers a lot.
Yeah, and I'm not going to argue that. I'm definitely not on the other side of that. So, but also, that's a bold statement to tell Quentin Tarantino to let somebody else do something for him. Like, he's given us some pretty modern masterpieces as far as like cinema. So, and I feel like he's one of the last like movie makers.
I'll give you that's a true statement.
To be like True Romance is perfect because that's what Quentin Tarantino wanted. You know what I mean? Like, somebody else directed this movie, it wasn't him. So who knows what they changed in this to make it less appealing. But I mean, to be like, you should have let somebody else I think that there's just 3 movies in this movie.
Natural Born Killers is the better of the movies. One, the love story in Natural Born Killers feels legit. Like, we're given time for process. It's not just like we get one scene where, Patricia Arquette's crying outside because I'm a hooker, but I love you, shit like that.
Yeah, that was all very forced.
Compared to Mallory's story where she does instantly fall in love with Mickey, but there's this genuine feeling where the two actors, when they look at each other and they talk to each other, you could see it where they do show that love, and the way that they speak to each other, it feels more than when Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette are talking about their love for each other. Don't you die on me. Don't you die. She's sitting there screaming with a gash in his head and stuff. I don't know what I would do without you and shit. And I'm just like, this is silly.
So that's what I was getting ready to bring up. Is you could interchange Patricia Arquette and Juliette Lewis and I wouldn't know the difference. Like, they both sound like womp 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 when they talk.
I would give Juliet more.
I think she's a better actor, and she's more tolerable of the two. But like, even in Natural Born Killers and in Dusk Till Dawn and everything else I've seen her in, she still is that character in that movie.
Oh yeah,
she's still the
Mallory. No matter what, she'll always be Mallory. Even when she's being nice, I can hear it. But another thing with Patricia Arquette, with
Julia Lewis,
her accent doesn't sound fake. Like, that accent that Patricia Arquette was trying to portray really sounded off. Like when someone tries to force a Southern accent, it's like someone doing a really bad fake British accent. And it just doesn't, fucking,
or
poppycock.
It's like too exaggerated to be believable.
Yeah.
But again, that's her tone of voice. I don't think that
Yeah.
that's her fault.
Yeah.
Let's ask Patrick Swayze.
No.
He's telling you to be kind, Jerry.
Be kind. Yeah. Okay. No, I do understand what you mean about the Point Break. I think we found it. We're never gonna hit another Point Break again. Like, we're gonna be lucky if we ever hit another fucking Point Break. A movie that we haven't seen from the past.
All right. Well, let's put it out to the watchers of this video. Is there another Point Break style movie that is as good as Point Break? If you know of one, let us know, because we're having a hard time finding one.
Yeah.
I mean, like Beverly Hills Cop, yeah, those are amazing.
Yeah,
like,
but you
I
grew
would
up
put
with
that.
those. I'm talking about
Yeah,
something
yeah.
you had
Oh, you
never
mean just
fucking
like
seen.
out of nowhere kind
Yeah.
of thing? Like, oh yeah, okay.
Like,
Yeah, I can't. I haven't come across one yet.
yeah, like, oh man, I've always, kind of just thrown this to the wind, like never just sat down and watched it. And then all of a sudden you watch it and you're like, whoa, this is actually really
Yeah.
fucking good.
And I'll tell you what, that movie like crumbled my Mount Rushmore and my knowledge of action movies at that time.
Yeah.
Like, I know that falls under like that Top Gun, like high adrenaline
Oh,
style
I see this.
action movie.
Like, this
But
is like starting the death nail of all that overblown 80s stuff. And this is something different. This is thinking. This is me going like, man, I kind of like, because in the 80s movies, you want to see that bad guy dead. And nobody in the fucking theater wanted to see Bodhi die. Nobody.
well, yeah, I mean, I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, as far as like the high octane 80s action movie, that's what this is. This is the last one that they had to give us, I think.
Yeah.
But like, it crumbled my idea of action movies. The only one that was left standing after this was Die Hard. Like, that was the only thing that I was like, okay, you know, this isn't Commando or Predator or Rocky or whatever the case is. Like, it's not,
Rambo's.
yeah, it's not that, but it's still so action packed. Like, my idea of action was those things.
Yeah.
The missing in actions and every Steven Seagal movie. So like when I saw that movie, I was like, holy shit, this is like a whole new thing to me. Like, wow. And then like, you think like there are movies that attempted this with like Face Off and Con Air.
Yeah, that's the
new
that 90s style. Like,
yeah.
it literally, like, okay, you have the 80s action, this blown out action that really just died when Terminator 2 came out. Like, that was the death nail of those blown out 80s action. And that's when you started getting movies like Speed and getting movies like you still had a couple of those bloated action movies, but not until like The Matrix came around. And then when The Matrix came around, that started a brand new wave of action movies, But I think that Point Break is just
Fifth Element started. The Fifth Element's a good example of that. It's not high octane, but it's like that different style of action.
No, where you.
But again, we're not talking.
We're not talking about good movies. We're talking about this okay movie.
Yeah, I don't know. So another thing about this movie, real quick, is like, okay, they've got at one point they say there's $1 million worth of cocaine. Then they say there's $500,000 worth of cocaine, and they're dumping it for $200,000 because they just want to get out.
Yeah,
I completely understand that.
Oh, okay, good.
there was a movie that came out years ago. I can't remember the name. I can't even remember it well enough to talk about it. Never mind. But it had something to do with like a couple random people that came across drugs and were trying to sell it and shit. But that's what this felt like to me. So I understand that you're going to dump it for half the price or whatever.
Yeah.
But the whole thing to me was like, how long do you think that $200,000 is going to last?
Well, they
Like,
went to
that's not a
Mexico.
lifetime's worth of money.
No,
You know what I mean? And like, I don't even know that they moved out of California,
they moved to
but
Mexico.
the 200, did they?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then it probably went further there. But 200K is not a lifetime's worth of money.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it could be, but like, they're trying to live the life. Like, they're trying to
Nah, they're
not
gonna
worry.
get they're gonna have like a little trailer down in Mexico on the beach, and
Yeah, I
he's gonna
mean,
be
that's
given like scuba diving lessons, and she's gonna be waiting tables.
what if Christian Slater's character ends up being Paul Rudd's character in Forgetting Sarah Marshall,
Yeah,
where he's just that complete idiot because like the bullet fucked his brain up, right?
Yeah.
So like now he's just there like, hey man, you want some surf lessons
yeah,
today? And like Peter Siegel's all like, no, I'm sad, Kristen Bell. And then like Paul Rudd's just like, oh dude, that sucks, let's go catch some waves and everything. Like that's
yeah,
Christian Slater, like
yeah.
that's
That's
who he became.
yeah, because Quentin Tarantino wrote Saving Sarah Marshall too. So
Yeah. No. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, not
yeah,
Saving
that
Sarah
one.
Marshall.
No,
He's cross-pollinated
see
two different movies.
no, he wanted to call it Saving Sarah Marshall. So, but
Oh,
the new director, they were like,
okay.
forgetting
When he
Sarah
wrote
Marshall.
it, yeah. When he wrote it, it was Saving Sarah Marshall. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Because instead
dude,
of
this gives me so much ammo for my choices to like get you back for all these full moon pictures. I'm just gonna make you watch those shit ass fucking comedies. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, dude, we're watching fucking, I don't know, whatever.
All those full moon, we watched literally one this year.
And like, yeah, and you tricked me. No, we've watched two because Arcade was one.
Yeah, and
then we watched something else that was full moon. Or no, did we abandon that? Remember, you sent me like 3 or 4 to choose from.
Yeah, and I believe it was abandoned for like
was it?
Yeah, I think we talked about
because it was like Annie's Pies and like like the fucking motorcycle or whatever, the
motorcycle
motorcycle, yeah dude, yeah. So like, I remember those. I dodged that bullet. But yeah, I'm just gonna start making you watch these movies.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Shitty like date night comedies.
You see the comedy gold that's coming out tonight and stuff about like, I'll just keep going about it, keep throwing those Judd Apatow ideas at me. But yeah, I think like, okay, back to this.
What movie were we doing again?
We're doing fucking True Romance.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, sure, whatever. I would like to think that if Quentin was given the ability to direct this himself and maybe star in it, it would have been a completely different movie. So would you have saw this in the theater? $20, popcorn, and everything. You would
I think that if these people were relevant as they were back then now, yeah, I would. Okay. I would have taken the risk. I would have been like, oh damn, it wasn't as good as I was hoping. But like, I would have still paid to see it.
No, I wouldn't. I'd be gone. But like, are you killing it or are you throwing this?
It's really hard because it wasn't thrilling, but it wasn't killing. It was just kind of like, meh. It was just very like, like I don't know what else to get. I guess it was a kill then. If it wasn't thrilling, it's killing. So
I'm not even gonna kill this. I'm just gonna throw it in the trash because it's like, I think there's been better versions of this, and Natural Born Killers will be just a better version of this movie. You want to start?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to give it the run of the mill 3 stars.
Okay.
It wasn't a bad movie, and I'm glad I saw it now, because if I would have seen it previously, like when it came out or whatever, I wouldn't have gotten it. I wouldn't have known who Quentin Tarantino was. I wouldn't have like saw what he became.
Mhm.
So I think I forgave the movie a lot, because it was just like it was out of his hands directory wise, or director wise. But
Yeah, he just
like
sold the script.
I didn't dislike the cinematography.
No, no.
Not necessarily the directing, but the cinematography. I like the angles, and
Yeah.
some of the shots were fun. So
More.
yeah.
I'm gonna go 2 stars for Brad Pitt. Fucking like I said, I made a whole movie up with that one character. I think he's the one character that really I enjoyed. So
Dude,